Good afternoon, or good evening, or good morning. You'll know this is the fourth video filmed on the same day. Not quite sure when these are going out on YouTube, but this is actually a really important one. It's arguably the most important of all four. Lambeth low traffic neighbourhood to be removed immediately, a court has ruled. A low traffic neighbourhood scheme in South London must be removed with immediate effect following an order by the High Court. I've been kind of following this through the Facebook groups. This is a really big deal. Lambeth Council was told in May that the way the low traffic neighbourhood in West Dulwich had been implemented was unlawful. The ruling was not in relation to the effectiveness or the impact of the scheme itself. So basically, the way that they've put the scheme in, the low traffic neighbourhood, if you don't know what they are, essentially it's the closing down of the highways, the roads, with a view to making different areas less traffic focused, but all it does is it redirects the traffic elsewhere, and it causes a whole pain in the butt for people who are commuting in cars, because as we know, if you own and drive a car, you are the enemy. Anyway, what they did is they did a consultation, and nobody wanted these low traffic neighbourhoods. They put them in anyway, and now the High Court has said that it all needs to be removed because the processes that they went through were not done correctly when they implemented the low traffic neighbourhood. So annoyingly, they're not debating the effectiveness of the low traffic neighbourhood or you know what it achieves, air pollution, people happiness, all that crap. They're just saying that they did it all wrong, and therefore it has to go. Low traffic neighbourhoods aim to reduce motor traffic in residential areas by using either cameras, planters or lockable bollards. Do you remember the poem, The First to Arrive with the Cameras installed to protect you and me in places where we weren't that threatened and yet the people didn't see? It's all here. And I wrote that poem, what, 4 years ago now? The West Dulwich Action Group, which brought the legal challenge, described the ruling as a wake-up call to councils everywhere, but supporters such as Better Streets Dulwich, you can guarantee they'll be financed by some dodgy operation, won't they? Said the low traffic neighbourhood made streets much safer for pedestrians and cyclists. Makes it a lot easier for mobile phone theft as well. You know, where like you're walking along on your phone in London and then, you know, some hoodlum rides past, probably on an electric bike, electric scooter, a Sauron. Is it the Sauron? Those ones are really fast. They ride past, they nick your phone, and then the police car can't get through because there's a planter or a bollard in the way. So they've actually helped that kind of crime. But you're not allowed to talk about that. Lambeth Council has been denied permission to appeal against the decision and must pay £35,000 toward the legal costs incurred by the West Dulwich Action Group. The Action Group said questions must now be asked about the revenue raised by penalising motorists who contravene the LTN rules, and whether the more than £1 million total raised in penalty notices will have to be repaid. It does, surely. Like, if you've been fined incorrectly, you need a refund on the fine. And I would go further and say you also need to be reimbursed for the stress and time that dealing with that fine has caused you. I think they should be repaid at 150%. But that's just me. The West Dulwich Action Group spokesperson said the group had called on Lambeth Council to clarify whether it will issue the refunds. It said this is not just about legality, it's about fairness and public trust. If the law was broken, the money should be paid back, the spokesperson said. Quite rightly, I agree. This case should never have gone to court. It could have been resolved through proper, respectful dialogue, and instead, Lambeth chose to defend litigation over listening, and the public has paid for it. As we say, the public have picked up the bill on this, but it's exactly the same as what we see going on in Bristol. If you watch that video, I think it was 2 videos ago, they went and installed this stuff. Same thing, low traffic neighbourhood. They went and installed it to create a livable city at 3 o'clock in the morning. If it ain't right, do it at night. And then the police had to apologise for their behaviour. Reacting to the news, Andrew Hanson for Better Streets Dulwich. Andrew, come on the channel, come and have a chat. Said they were very disappointed. Mr. Hanson, whose partner Anna Goodman is an academic involved in research on low traffic neighbourhoods, which was used by Lambeth Council. He said, we're in favour of making travel in the area safer. So the person that they've interviewed for the opposite side to say that they wanted the low traffic neighbourhood is the husband of the woman whose research was used to implement the low traffic neighbourhood. Conflict of interest much? Mr. Hanson said the group felt the ruling had been made based on narrow ground and a fairly minor point, which he said they hoped the council could rectify before introducing the low traffic neighbourhood. He said the restrictions made the area much safer for children and for people who are walking or cycling. He added, it brings a greater sense of community. It's much easier to talk to your neighbours when there aren't 200 cars an hour going past your front door. No one talks to their neighbours anymore. Come on. They're all from Somalia. Mr. Hanson said the roads within the low traffic neighbourhood were never intended to take these volumes of traffic. You can say that about every road in the country. Every single road in the country was not intended to take this volume of traffic, because we haven't built any new roads since about 1986. And look at what was going on in motoring in 1986. You know, you actually recognise your community because they look like you. Oh, we can't say that. He said, yeah, it's a real shame that a small but very vocal group has managed to make enough noise to push us to where we are now. Again, you could say that about the whole climate thing that's going on in the UK and in the government and everywhere else, actually. It seems to me like the vocal people are actually the majority, and it's the small but vocal group that are usually doing this the other way around. They're the lefties, they're the communists, they're the ones that want to shut everything down, lock everyone away and get rid of all the cars. Small but vocal group. Same thing going on in Malvern Hills Trust. Whole nother ball game, but essentially exactly the same stuff. It'd be people, things being put through based on dodgy consultation results being ignored, local voices being ignored, small minority of people with an agenda pushing through things that are against the will of the people, and in this case they've been caught out. In response to the decision, Lambeth Council said it remained committed to delivering our programme to reduce road danger for those most at risk and making our streets calmer, more community friendly places. Yeah, it's just getting rid of cars, isn't it? All they want to do is get rid of cars. It added, the High Court has ordered the removal of the West Dulwich street improvements. No further fines will be issued, and we're removing the scheme as soon as it can be done safely. Good. Now sack everyone who was involved and find out a way to repay the people that have been fined. And then let's go and look at Bristol and see how they got their low traffic neighbourhood in. And then every other one as well, the one in King's Heath in Birmingham, because I bet it followed the same playbook. So this actually should, in theory, be a positive thing. It should open the floodgates to look at what's been implemented in your area and how it was done and if they followed procedure correctly. Because if they didn't, then it's all out. Same with the ULEZ. The signage wasn't correct, which means none of the fines apply. And as I've said in other videos as well, if you live in one of the areas where you're affected by a low traffic neighbourhood or a bus gate or a livable city or a livable neighbourhood or a low emission zone or a no cars, the only thing that is trapping you financially within these places are the two rectangles at either end of your car. It's that simple. But there hasn't really been a movement to go and remove those rectangles, because I think what it is, I think there's a small number of people that have gone, oh right, yeah, that works, and they're just getting on with it. They're just getting on with it. They're just doing their thing. They're going about their daily lives, and they've found a way to avoid the cameras, and they don't want everyone to know about it. But like I said, everything is connected to the yellow rectangle and the white rectangle on your motor vehicle. So there's your answer, isn't it? Thank you very much for watching.